The same resource, which saved even more money. The use went up once more. Also, all of this stuff that's been going on for the last 10 to 15 years has hidden the main trend, which is that Moore's law is ending. We found another 2 times in cost savings, which hid the end of transistor scaling and CPU scaling. Then, all of a sudden, we had already found ways to make these things more useful and cut costs, so we're done. That's the reason why our data centers and computers are getting bigger right now. The first thing that's happening is faster computers. A 20-to-1 speed up is normal when you take your data processing work and speed it up with Nvidia in the cloud. This is because Spark is probably the most popular data processing engine in the world right now. You get 10 times the savings, but you have to pay for the Nvidia GPU that helps the CPU. The cost of computing might go up a little, maybe even double, but the time it takes to compute goes down by about 20 times, so you save 10 times as much. This kind of return on investment, ROI, is common for accelerated computers. I would tell everyone to speed up everything they can, and then run it with GPUs after they're done improving it. That's an immediate return on investment when you speed things up. Later, we'll talk about generative AI. In the first wave, infrastructure players like us and all cloud service providers put the infrastructure in the cloud so that developers could use these machines to train the models, fine-tune the models, protect the models, and so on. This is a great investment because there is so much demand that for every dollar they spend with us, they rent something worth $5. This is happening all over the world. Everything is gone, and this is in such high demand it's crazy. Of course, we already know about some of these apps: OpenAI, ChatGPT, GitHub Copilot, and code writers that we use at work. It's amazing how much production has grown. Today, there isn't a single software worker in our company who doesn't use code generators. These can be the ones we make ourselves for TUDA or USD, another language we use, Verilog, C, or C++. That being said, I don't think every bit of code will be written by software engineers anymore. In the future, I think all of our software engineers will have digital engineers working with them all the time. When I think about Nvidia, I see that we have 32,000 workers, but around them are hopefully 100 times more digital engineers. Nvidia is that the system you build today for training will work great tomorrow for inference. I think that most of ChatGPT is learned from the same kinds of systems that it was just trained on. You can draw conclusions from it if you can train on it. You're also leaving behind a lot of machinery that will be very good at drawing conclusions. There's no doubt in your mind that you can use the money you earn from the investment to build a new infrastructure that can grow with your business. You know you'll leave something useful behind. In just 1 year, Nvidia and the rest of the community will work to make the algorithms better so that the rest of your infrastructure gets 5 times better. It's going to stay that way. The way people think about infrastructure is, I built it for training today, so it must be good for training. We know it will be good for inference too. There will be more than one measure of inference. It's helpful to have a bigger model to distill from if you want to distill a smaller one. Because of this, you will still make these amazing frontier models. They will be used for groundbreaking work, making fake data, teaching smaller models, and distilling them down. There will be huge models, small models, and even very small models at the end. The tiny models will work pretty well, though they won't be able to be used in as many situations. In one tiny domain, they will do a very specific job incredibly well. In that one domain, we will see superhuman performance from a very small model. Maybe not a small language model, but tiny language models, TLMs, or something like that. In your new note, you say that more business deals are made when Trump is in office. Why is that the case and where? Yes, I believe this time for M and A will be just right. Regulators have been a big problem, as has overconfidence in stock prices. I believe that there will soon be a huge amount of mergers and acquisitions, mainly involving AI infrastructure, software, and protection. I believe we've seen a lot of them in public and private. It's kind of like a tech prom, but no one is really asking anyone to dance on either side. And now, I think this thing starts. I think we could see a lot of mergers and acquisitions under a Trump government. Okay, so that's in the public markets. I'm going to come over to you, Al. As we already said, you're an early-stage investor in both Pinterest and Ayrton. You're in touch with the private markets a lot. So now that President Trump or President-elect Trump is in office, what does that mean for tech companies in the private markets? There was talk that prices were falling before Trump took office. Does that mean they are no longer falling? Once more, I believe it is very good for private companies in general. I think there are some companies, especially ones with ties to Elon Musk, like SpaceX, that are just very positive. We've seen what Elon Musk can do when the White House is basically hostile. Yeah, I think it will be amazing what we see if the White House is neutral or friendly. I think this is true in all private markets. Oh, Alex, we talked about this off-air. You call it the Musk economy. We have a picture of it that calls it the Elon Musk corporate empire. There are a lot of companies there. It's XAI, the boring company X, Tesla, and SpaceX. So when you look at these different companies, what kind of value increase do you think we have now that Elon Musk may be part of a government that seems to be more friendly? In a way, I think SpaceX and Tesla are so important that they helped Trump win the election. Now that there are fewer rules and more people are interested in building in the US, I think these potentially amazing infrastructures will be put in place much more quickly across the country, but especially in the redder states that voted for him. Dan, I'd like to talk to you again. In your new note, you say that you expect to see more mergers and acquisitions, M&A, under a Trump president. We were together, though, on election night. You were in the room with us while we talked about this. Many stocks went up, including Tesla, which we've already talked about in detail. But you say that you see other stocks, like Palantir, Google, and Apple, doing even better. Why does that happen? This is going to be a great time for AI technology, and I think Palantir will be at the forefront of it all. Everything Karp and his team do will cost the U.S. Department of Defense a lot of money, especially when it comes to the belt. Look at Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. They are all hyperscalers. This is really going to be a new age of AI infrastructure. Also, when it comes to Apple, I think this consumer AI revolution goes through Cupertino, even though there are some fears about tariffs with China. That's why I think Trump getting involved is good for tech. I agree with everything Alex said. The new era of this tech bull market has begun. So, now that there's a chance of less control, some areas have seen an improvement. Do you think tech will keep getting that much better in the future? It seems like everyone agrees that Lina Khan will no longer work at the FTC. It will just be a different regulatory setting. Khan has been a pain for tech, and I think that when she leaves, the whole area will be different. I agree with some of what Alex said. The rules will be so much friendlier for deals and mergers and acquisitions. As this AI change continues, I think big tech will become a little more aggressive when it comes to mergers and acquisitions, especially when it comes to AI.